A very good afternoon to one and all. I'm dealing with the course of power plant engineering in that today's topic is combustion. The outline of my presentation is combustion, coal burning methods, classifications of coal burning methods. Combustion, where the combustion of the fuel takes place in the steam power plant. The amount of the air supplied should be such that its efficiency to burn the fuel completely. Complete combustion of the fuels means complete oxidation. The air and the fuel should mix thoroughly so that the combustible particles comes in intimate contact with oxygen. The fuel must remain in the furnace for the sufficient time till it burns completely. The temperature in the furnace should be very high enough to ignite the incoming of the air-fuel mixture. So what is meant by a combustion? Fuel is basically a source of heat, means for burning, fuel must be very useful. The useful method of producing heat from the fuel is called as a this process is called as a combustion. Means it's a chemical reaction between the fuel and the oxidant. If the fuel and the oxidant combine with the chemical reaction, then the combustion takes place. Means fuel plus air combines. After combustion, the product of combustion and the heat gets liberated. So this is the process of the combustion. So the combustion of the fuel is broadly expressed in two ways: quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. The oxygen contained in the air unites chemically with carbon, hydrogen, and other elements in the fuel to produce heat. This amount of the heat liberated during the combustion depends upon the amount of the oxidant of the constituents of the fuel and the nature of the fuel. So it mainly depends upon the two parameters, that is oxidation of constitution of fuels. Means in the fuel the oxygen elements present and the nature of the fuel. That is for the chemical composition of the fuel, the nature should be very important. So combustion stages. Combustion stages are of two types: ignition and the combustion. And combustion is again broadly classified into two types: complete combustion and incomplete combustion. What is meant by an ignition and what is the difference between the ignition and the combustion? Ignition is a period during which the fuel is gradually raised in the temperature. When we take the solid fuel, that is the coal, is introduced in the furnace, moisture is first removed and the volatile matter begins to be liberated. Means the amount of the water which is present in the coal must be liberated first. The resultant gaseous products of the fuel composition are gradually heated for the ignition point. Means the gaseous products, after the fuel decomposition, the heat gets ignited, the heat gets started. That point is known as the ignition, and burning in a flame over a solid part of the fuel is called as a ignition. And we previously discussed that combustion means it is a chemical reaction between the fuel and the oxidant. So combustion is again broadly classified into com Combustion is again broadly classified into two types: complete combustion and incomplete combustion. For complete combustion, it is the process in which the combustible elements of the fuel combine chemically with the oxygen of air at a definite temperature. Means it is a process of the combustible elements of the fuel that combines with chemically, that is oxygen. Means fuel combines with the oxygen at a definite temperature. The fuel gases produced consist of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, oxygen and nitrogen. After the complete combustion, these are the product of the combustions along with the heat is liberated. And what is meant by incomplete combustion? Incomplete combustion means the air supplied causes incomplete combustion of the fuel, which results for the unburnt of the fuel of burning discharge from the furnace along with the ash and slag. Means if the chemical reaction does not take place in a definite manner, there will be a unburnt fuel occurs in the furnace along with some amount of the ash and the slag. The presence of carbon monoxide in the combustion products indicates the incomplete combustion. When liquid or the gaseous fuel is fired, incomplete combustion is accompanied by the soot formation. Means in incomplete combustion, the byproducts are carbon monoxide, ash and slag. Along with that, some of the gaseous and liquid fuels are also formed. Whereas in complete combustion, the byproducts are carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, oxygen and nitrogen. So this is about the combustion. Combustion equipments. The combustion efficiency mainly depends upon the following parameters. Freely ignited fresh charge of the fuel, steady combustion for obtaining the desired amount of the heat release. Means after a steady state, that is the fuel and the chemical reaction takes place. After a steady state, combustion takes place and a desired amount of the heat must be released. And the adequate combustion space. For the combustion process, there must be some space should be available. Quantity of the air supply for complete combustion. For combustion, air plus fuel mixture should be there. So the air must be supplied in a quantity manner. Means that there should not be any impurities. Because if any impurities are there, that impurities combines with the fuels and a large amount of impurities and gaseous fuels are formed. The method of air supply means the various methods are for air supply is there. So the method of air supply is also in the process of the combustion equipment. Combustion equipment includes heaters, ovens, stoves, furnaces, fireplaces, dryers, stokers, burners and many more. So these are the various equipments used in the combustions. Selection consideration of combustion equipment. The initial cost of the equipment should be very less. Means for combustion process, the cost of the equipment should be very less. Sufficient combustion space and its ability to withstand with the high temperature. Means of the chemical compositions of the fuel and the air takes place and it should be withstands with the high temperature flame. And the area of the grate means after the combustion the ash disposal is formed. The ash should be grated very quickly. For that it must need a large amount of the space. And the operation cost of the combustion should be minimum. And the minimum smoke nuisance should be formed. After combustion, the ash along with the ash, some of the gaseous fuels are the formed, which are very dangerous to the pollutants. That should be minimized. And the flexibility should be flexibility of the operation. For the operation of the combustion, it should be very flexible. And the design of the combustion process is also must be a very flexible. Arrangement for thorough mixing of air with fuel for sufficient combustion. Means for mixing of the air and the fuel, the arrangement should be very mixed, very enough. So these are the various parameters that should be considered for the selection of the combustion equipments. So coal burning methods. Coal burning methods should be broadly classified into three types. That is, first one is hand firing, second one is the mechanical or strokes firing, and third one is the pulverizer fuel firing. In that first one is the hand firing. So what is meant by hand firing? Hand firing is the simplest method of the fuel firing. The combustion efficiency is very low in the hand firing when compared to the mechanical firing or pulverizer fuel firing. Due to the lower combustion efficiency, Means here the hand firing are used, the combustion efficiency is very low. So it is not applicable for the for the medium and the large power plants. It is applicable for the small power plants only. So these are the various equipments used for the hand firing. That is Cooper grade, common grade bar and sawdust grade. Hand firing is the simplest method of firing coal into the furnace and it requires no capital cost. It is used for the smaller plants as we previously discussed, and the adjustments are to be made every time for supply of the air when fresh coal is fed into the furnace. Means after once the combustion process completed, the equipments must be cleaned. If the hand firing equipment is not clean, some of the ash is there in the hand firing equipment, and this leads the and this reduces the efficiency of the combustion. Hand firing grades, it is used to support the fuel bed and admit the air for the combustion. So these are the various hand firing grades. When burning of the fuel, the total amount of the air varying supplies from 30 to 50 percentage of the total grate area. Means after the burning of the coal, the area must be open 30 to 50% for the grate area. Remaining percentage of area should be used for the combustion. The grating area required for the installation depends upon various factors such as heating surface, grating at which it is to be operated, and the type of the fuel burn it. How many factors? There are three factors. In that, first one is the heating surface. The heating surface should be withstand with the large amount of the heat. And the rate, second parameter is rate at which it should be operated. Rate at which it should be operated means the rate of combustion. And the third parameter is type of the fuel burn. As we previously discussed, coal is broadly classified into the 5 types. So we have to use the coal in the pulverizer form with large amount of the calorific value. The width of the air opening means the air should be entered for the combustion process. It should be 3 to 12 mm for the designing purpose. The construction of the grate should be such that it kept uniformly cool by incoming air. Means the construction of the grate should be uniformly for the incoming air. It should allow the pass of the ash. Means after the combustion, it must discharge the ash very fastly. Hand gratings are made up of the cast iron. And next one is the strokes firing. A stroke is a power operated fuel feeding the mechanism using a grate. Means here the grates are used for the combustion process. This method is used for charging of fuel into the furnace in the mechanical modes. These mechanical modes consist of 5 doors underneath the bunkers which supply the fuel. The bunkers must receive the fuel by using the conveyors. Strokes firing permits feeding and burning of large amount of the fuel with greater uniform and easily control of the combustion. This method of firing is used for burning of the solid fuel on the grates. Strokes are broadly classified into 2 types: overfeed strokers and underfeed strokers. We will discuss the classifications of overfeed and underfeed and basic principle in the next slides. And what are the advantages of the stroke firing? A cheaper grade of the fuel is to be used, and the efficiency obtained in the mechanical or strokes firing is very high. Less amount of the smoke is produced. So these are the advantages. And coming to disadvantages, construction is very complicated since we are using so many equipment such as 5 doors underneath bunkers are used, and the initial cost of the equipment is very high, and the troubles are also very high in the stroke firing because a large amount of the fuel is burned. After that, a large amount of the ash is formed. Disposal of the ash is very risk. And next is sudden variation. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the stroke firing system. And classifications of the stroke firing. Stroke firing or mechanical firings are broadly classified into two types: overfeed stroke firing and underfeed stroke firing. Overfeed stroke firing are again broadly classified into three types: chain grade, traveling grade, and speeder grade. So these are the three classifications of overfeed. And coming to underfeed stroke firing, it is broadly classified into two types: single retort and multi-retort. So these are the various classifications of stroke firing or mechanical. In that, first one is overfeed strokers. So what is meant by a overfeed strokers and the mechanism used here? In the overfeed mechanism, a forced draught fan with a slightly pressurizes the atmosphere air before it enters under the bottom of the grate. Means in the overfeed, it consists of a pressurized air. This pressurized means this high pressure is due to the forced draught fan used here before it enters, and the air enters at the bottom of the grate. So in overfeed strokers, the air enters at the bottom of the grate. The fuel bed receives the fresh air on the top. So this is the diagram of the principle of the overfeed strokers. So as we previously discussed, the air enters at the from the bottom. So what is the basic principle of the overfeed strokers? So in overfeed strokers, the coal is fed into the grater. So here if the grater is there above the point of the air admission, the air enter while moving the grate openings gets heated up and the grate is closer. Means the coal is stored in the grater. After the combustion, after the air enters, the combustion process starts. After the combustion, this air valves get closed. Means this grate get closer. After getting close of the grate, there is no amount of the no additional amount of the fuel is added for the combustion process. The air moving through the grate openings should be heated and the grate area should be cooled. So the hot air that moves up over the layer of the ash. So after the combustion, the hot gases enters into the ash and picks up the additional amount of the energy. Means this hot air, after the combustion, the heat energy is released. This heat energy combines with the ash and the large amount of the heat get liberated. The air passes through the layer of indesicent coal, and where the oxygen reacts the coke to form the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and nitrogen. So these are the means this hot gases that is liberated from the ash that combines with the indesicent coal and releases the byproducts. So the gases leaving from the surface of the fuel bed contains the volatile matter. Means the volatile matter, the water matter is present in this combustion of these gases. So we have to remove this combustion matter, this volatile matter by using the green coal. So the gases leaving from the coal of the bed contain the volatile gases such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and hydrogen. This additional amount of the air should be supplied. That is, secondary air is supplied to burn the combustible gases. These combustion gases enters into the boiler consist of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen along with the water. And also carbon monoxide complete combustion is not possible. So this is the basic principle of the overfeed strokers. Means the air enters from the bottom at the grater, the air enters into the grater, the coal starts firing, the coal is the hot heat energy is entered from the ash, and from the heat the indesicent coal is get heated and releases the volatile matter along with that carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and hydrogens as the byproducts. For removing of the volatile matter, we have to use the green coal. and the secondary air should be added. And after that, the green coal and these chemicals react, these gases reacted, the volatile gas must be removed and the water is formed. So these gases enters into the boiler for the combustion process. So this is the basic principle. Overfeed strokers. Different classifications of the overfeed strokers. Overfeed strokers are broadly classified into two types: traveling grade stroker and spread stroker. Traveling grade stroker are again broadly classified into two types: chain grater type and bar grater type. In that, first one is the chain grater overfeed strokers. These type of the strokers are useful for the large capacity boilers where the unpulverized coals are used. Means here the coal is used is unpulverized. Both these strokers are called as the conveyor strokers. Means chain strokers and traveling strokers are called as the conveyor strokers. It consists of an endless chains which continuously receives the coal. Means they are this consists of an endless chain. In the endless chain, there are two sprockets, that is driver pulley and driven pulley, and there is a chain grate. In the chain grate, the coal is supplied continuously from the coal hoppers. The conveyor strokers must be a chain grate or a bar grate. If chain is used, it is known as the chain grate. If bar is used, it is known as the traveling grate. These two are different in the details of the complete combustion. After the combustion, the hot gases is entering from here, from the downlets, because in the overfeeder, the air must be entered from the bottom. So coal and the air combines and the hot gases must be released here. And these are known as the air ports, which are used for the air to pass in these ports only. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages are simple in construction, lower cost is lower initial cost, self-cleaning stroker. The rate of the heat releases can be controlled by adjusting the controlling of chain speed. The rate of the heat releasing is high per unit volume of the furnace. Means these are the advantages. It is chain grater is a self-cleaning. The cost is very low and the power consumption used is very less and the rate of heat released is very high. And disadvantages are it cannot be used for high capacity boilers. Means it is used for the small and medium capacity boilers only. Temperature of preheated air limited to 180 degrees centigrade. And the clinker trouble are very common. Means after complete combustion, the ash is formed. These fine particles of the ash, after sometimes it forms a solid particle. That solid particle is called as a clinker. So clinkers are formed in the chain grade strokers. And the loss of coal in the form of fine particles carried away with the ash. Means the coal which is coming from the coal hopper is of the solid form, and after the combustion, the fine small particles along with the ash carried away from the hot gases. So these are the disadvantages. And next one is the spreader or sprinkler stroker. So spreader stroker is also known as the sprinkler stroker. In this stroker, in which the coal from the hopper, this coal from the hopper is fed into the feeder, which measures the coal in accordance for the requirements. Means if the large amount of the coal is required, this feeder allows the large amount of the coal. So if this coal is complete for the complete combustion, this feeder does not allow the coal for the combustion. Feeder is a rotating device which is fitted with the blades. The feeder can be a reciprocating rams with the endless belts, spiral worms, etc. From the feeder, the coal drops into the spreader distributor, which spread the coal over the furnace. So after when the feeder get rotates, the coal is entering here. After the coal it passes through the spreader, which distributes the coal over the furnace in a equal direction. This feeder system This feeder system should distribute the coal over in the greater area. The speed depends upon the size of the coal. If the size of the coal is very large, the speeder takes a large amount of the time for the coal to enter for the combustion. In this type of the stroker, the coal is handled by revolving the blades of the feeders units and flung into the furnace on the top of the furnace. These small particles these small particles burning in the suspension as they pass through them. Means the speeder equally distributes the coal. At the bottom, the air enters from the air ducts, and this is a grater, and this is the refuse is there. In the refuse, the fine particles collected here. This is the advantage of the speeder stroker. In the previous chain strokers, along with the air, coal fine particles enters into the boilers. But here the fine particle is collected in this pit, that is the refuse pit. After complete combustion, the hot gases is sent into the boiler. So this is the process. The coal from the coal hopper, the coal enters here in the fader. The fader allows the quantity of the coal for the combustion. After the coal entering, it is entered into the speeder. It distributes the coal in the equal direction. So after the coal enters into this, the air enters at the bottom because it is a over speeders. So combustion takes place. Then the hot gases is removed from the top and it is sent into the boiler, and the fine ash particles is collected in the pit, and it should be removed very easily. Advantages and disadvantages are: a wide variety of the coal can be burned. The clinkering problems can be reduced by spreading action, and the ash formed can be disposed of very easily. And the high temperature preheated air can be used. If we observe this, another oven fire air is entered, so combustion takes place very high. Volatile matter is removed by burning of coal in suspension. Means the volatile matter which is present in the coal, it should be removed before the coal enters into this. And the good response for the load fluctuations, and it runs at very low cost because here we needed only a pit, feeder and spreader. So these are the advantages. And fire ashes are generally not required for this type of the strokers. The fuel burns rapidly and there is little coking of the fuels. This produces smokeless combustion and discharges less fly ash. Means a less amount of the smoke is formed and discharges a less amount of the fly ash. And coming to disadvantages, difficult to operate with various sizes of coal with varying moisture content. Means it cannot, the main difficulty is if the coal is of same solid form, it is very easy for the feeder to spread. But if it is in the different forms, means different sizes of the coal is taken with different moisture content, it is very difficult to feeder. And the fly ash is the major problem. In this feeder, fly ash is formed. Fuel losses due to suspension and exhaust gases. So fuel is lost because for combustion the hot gases combined with the coal, and along with the exhaust gases fuel is removed off. So these are the disadvantages. And underfeed mechanism. So in this mechanism, the coal is burned at the top of the feeder, and the coal used here is semi-bituminous coal. Means in this semi-bituminous coal only used. In this feeder mechanism, the fuel is fed underneath the fire and moves upwards gradually. Means in this underfeed strokers, the fuel is fed from the underneath of the fire and moves upwards gradually. The air entering through the greater space come in contact with the raw fuel and mixes with the volatile matter, releases from the raw fuel and enters into the combustion chamber. So this is the basic principle. And this is the diagram of the basic principle of the underfeeder stroker. So in underfeeder stroker, through the holes, the grades comes in contact with the raw material. Means in the previous overfeeds, the grades are in the horizontal direction. Here we are using the grades in come with the raw coal. Then it passes through the indescent coal. So the primary air enters here, and this primary air passes through the indescent coal. In the indescent coal, it consists of the volatile matter, carbon monoxide, dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen. So we have to remove the volatile matter. For removing of the volatile matter, this must be combined with the green coal. And the secondary air must be enter here. So in this volatile matter combines with the green coal and forms the byproducts as carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen, and water. And the ash is collected here. So this is the basic principle. These gases passes through the over the layer of the ash, and the secondary gases is passed for the complete combustion. In this type of strokers, the fuel and air both moves in the same direction. Whereas in overfeeder stroker, they moves in the opposite direction. Whereas in underfeeder strokers, fuel, air and moves in the same direction only. Classifications of underfeeder strokers. Different classifications of underfeeder strokers are given below. That is, first one is a single retort stroker and second one is the multi-retort stroker. So these are the two classifications. So this is the multi-retort stroker. The essential elements of the multi-retort strokers are triers, stroker ramps, drafts, pushers, window box, dampers, inlet dampers, draught gauge connection, extension grates, indescent coal, green coal, and distillation coal. So it consists of a series of an alternator. So these are known as the alternators or retorts. And the retorts is in the triers of which supplies the air. Each retort is fitted with the reciprocating ram. Means this one is the, if you consider this retort, it is fixed with the stroker ram, and this stroker rams moves in the reciprocating direction. Again this ram is connected with the stroker ram. Again this stroker rams moves in the reciprocating direction. So these pushers or the retorts are connected to the stroker's ram. The length of the stroker of pusher can be varied from the desired side. The slope of the This slope of the stroker helps the fuel moving in the fuel bed mechanism and keeps it slightly ignited to break up clinker formation. And this sloper is used for the clinkers to break into the small fine particles, which is used for the combustion. So the primary air enters here into the fuel bed from the main window door. So from the main window box, the primary air enters in the stroker at the bottom. Partial burnt coal moves in the extension growth. A thinner fuel bed on the extension growth requires a lower air pressure under it. The air entering from the main box into the extension grate box is regulated by an air dam. So from the window box, the air enters here, and this window box allows the sufficient air to pass for the complete combustion. Primary air from the window box underneath the strokers enters the fuel bed through the hole in the vertical trucks. These strokers are supplied with the forced draught. So these strokers are supplied with the forced draught for maintaining sufficient air flows through the fuel bed. High pressure secondary air must be used with this type of the strokers. The number of retorts varying from 2 to 20. So here the retorts used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So here the retorts used is 10 to 12, but the maximum limit is 20. And it can varies a coal with the capacity of 300 kg to 2000 kg per hour of the retorts. And it is used for the high type large amount of the boilers. And advantages are high thermal efficiency when compared with the chain grater stroker. It gives a high thermal efficiency. The grater is self-cleaning and the part load efficiency is very high with multiple retort system, and the higher combustion rate occurs here, and a variety of the coal can be used, best suited for non-clinkering, high volatile and low ash content. And disadvantages are initial cost is very high because the retorts we are using pushers, dampers, and the slope must be there, so the cost is very high. Large building area is required, and the clinker troubles are usually present because of after the fine particles again the clinker is formed. Low grade fuels with high ash content and cannot be burned economically. So here we are using the low grade fuels with high ash content and cannot be burned economically. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of multi retort. Thank you.